Hi, welcome back to Sisterhood and Surgery. The November month, we're doing self-care of mind and body. And Palma and I today are very excited because one, we get to be in yoga pants. But two, we are going to have a little bit different of a webcast today with a little bit of action at the end with a special guest on top of the special guest that we have. And I have with me Lindsay, who is a very good friend of mine, also a certified yoga instructor, and Hakeem, who is my personal trainer, also a good friend and certified fitness instructor.
Thank you.
Palma, and of course Palma.
Guns.
So I'll start off just saying a little bit about Lindsay. So her intention is to lead through a practice of both effort and ease. She started practicing yoga in 2005 and was later RTY 200 certified at Yoga One Studios in Houston in 2015. She is also Yin Yoga certified, which if anybody's done Yin Yoga, those are some hard and very long poses through the Integral Yoga Institute in New York City. She has been a certified child life specialist as well, where she worked at Shriners Hospital for Children for 8 years. She often incorporates techniques through her yoga and meditation to aid in healing and recovery. Welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you.
And then Palma, I'm going to let you introduce Hakeem.
Hakeem Akbar II is a wellness professional because he focuses on helping his clients transform their entire life, not just what people see, but how they feel, how they think, how they eat, and how they sleep, and how they engage with people in their life. When you have the right approach to personal transformation, impacts every area of your life. Forged in the power of the belief. His ethos is that greatness is in everyone, and it is his job to bring it out. Welcome, Hakeem.
An honor, an honor.
So the reason why we chose this topic today is because, especially seen by Palma and I last week when we were at VEITH, we were running around like crazy. Palma's eating her protein bars, working out, doing talks, moderating, being her important self. I'm like rushing home, Ella's sick, all this stuff. And so we sometimes just miss out on the importance of self-care. And so that's why we wanted to talk about this, especially from the experts. And so, Lindsay, what do you think, how would you describe self-care and why is it so important for our well-being, especially as busy female and male surgeons?
Yeah, I think self-care for me is described as meeting the needs of you as a whole person. So that multifaceted, very, like you said, busy, intricate, unique individual. So everybody's going to address their self-care differently. I brought a little, this is called a wellness wheel, but it's also called a balance wheel. And it's a good visual to use in regards to meeting some of those needs. So this one specifically is broken down into a bunch of categories. Here, I'll let you look at one. I did one myself right before I left,
okay,
so that I could be really honest with myself and what that looks like. But it's broken down in a lot of categories: diet, exercise, hobbies, home, love, family, friends, spiritual goals, work, finances, health. These may or may not be all values for every single person, but just as a beginning standpoint, this is a good balance of showing kind of where you are, right? And it changes every day, every month. It's on a 1 to 5 scale. Again, you can find these online, they're really easy. And I ranked where I am, 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the best, where I am in this wheel. So diet, not that great this week. Exercise, a little bit better. Hobbies, so you can see it kind of goes around. My friends and my family, they always usually stay up pretty high on the list because I highly value them. Some other things begin to dip. This does not look like a circle to me, and I think of it as a wheel. If you want to move forward in your life easily and smoothly, this probably is not the best shape that you would want, right? You want more of a rounded, whole shape, like a wheel. Like you're literally...
I'm probably like a triangle.
Yeah.
Exactly. What do I do?
Exactly.
Hexagon.
Yeah, this is actually much better than I've seen it in my past. My wheels in the past have been more like stars.
Okay.
And sometimes they're smaller. Like I don't have the capacity to have big, lots of space for things, and sometimes they're big and sometimes they're small. But anyway, this is a good visual to show you that self-care is not just one thing. I really want us to get away from the idea of self-care being bubble baths and green juice. Those things are great.
Yeah.
I love a green juice. I love a bubble bath. I love a spa. But the idea of you running yourself into the ground Monday through Friday and then trying to make up for it, at a spa or whatever on Saturday or Sunday, that's not what self-care is. What self-care is meeting those unique needs individually. So for me, example, friendships are high on that list. Not everybody has, again, that value.
Right.
But for me, it's a weekly thing. I need to meet with my friends on a weekly basis. My husband, he can go a month, 2 months.
Wow.
And not have that.
Death do we part. Okay.
He was also a surgeon, so that might be part of it. But it's unique to every person, so it's important that you are honest with yourself and that you can take the time to self-identify what it is that you need and then be able to meet that need.
That's great points. I mean, Palma, what would you say? Your thing right now would be a triangle. Do you see what we're talking about?
I'm going to download that, and I'm going to do that definitely for the new year. That'll be my resolution, to see where my weaknesses are.
Yeah, and you can
Where I
change it
need to
out.
improve.
Like, it doesn't have to look like this. Like I said, if something doesn't land with you, if it's not resonating with you, you can take it out and put it in for something else. It's so unique. It's so individual on what we need. The key component really is, can you identify what your needs are? And then can you be courageous enough to actually take the time to do it?
Yeah. Palma, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the important thing is that you have to forgive yourself. So if you make your wheel and you're a little low on the diet or you're a little low on something else, don't be so hard on yourself. You have to say, there's another week, I'm going to move back up on the wheel.
Yeah, there's no perfection. The game is not perfection. The game is balance. And the reason why self-care is so important is because showing up as your best self is how everyone thrives. Not just you, but the people around you, your family, your friends, your coworkers. If you're half showing up because you're not taking care of yourself, that's a big impact on you and everyone around you. So it's important because you're important.
You always talk about that, like being your best all the time. I mean, he wakes up at like 3:30,
3:30 a.m. 3:30, I'm in the gym. A.m.
my gosh.
3:05, I get up. Never set an alarm. Never.
Wow.
So what is self-care to you?
My approach is a little different. Self-care to me is limitless. So I wake up every day with a challenge in hand. I wake up with every day I will conquer some. So I don't use the word can't, try, maybe, none of that. Because to me, words change your DNA. If you ask about what's the most painful thing someone said to you, you remember it like that. The most physically painful thing. So I kind of look at it like, and I see this a lot with type A personality, very educated, highly educated people. You think too much. You guys think too much. See, I'm not that smart. I'm not smart enough to know my limitations. So because I'm not smart enough to know my limitations, I attack everything with a level of confidence and belief in myself. So I'm starting the morning off like that. So to me, to really boost yourself, give yourself that hype speech, like, you know what? I'm a bad, you know what? You know what? I have done this. Give yourself that credit in the morning. Don't look at your phone. Don't go on the news, because those negative things will set you up, and then you start taking on that, embracing that. So for me, self-care is allowing Hakeem to be Hakeem. I am perfectly designed the way I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be any taller. I'm not supposed to be any smaller. I am me. Accept that, and then the world will accept me better, and I will perform better when I'm doing that. So that's the self-care to me. Really starts off with the self-awareness of who I am, my place, how this world needs me. I'm part of this. I'm gonna be a contributor to this, and that's how I go. I give myself a hype speech every morning.
Self-care is surrounding myself with very positive people so that I always feel really good.
I mean, that's true. That's a big part of it. And we also talk about, you and I have talked about this before, how, it doesn't necessarily look like the bubble bath and the green juice, but especially in your world and the world of a surgeon, a female specifically, where society's not the greatest at allowing us to delegate. And the idea of more boundaries, placing more boundaries in your life, those are huge steps in self-care. Big, that's a giant step, especially as a mother. As you know, I'm a mom too, of two. setting the boundaries for me on a daily basis is part of my self-care routine. We were talking about earlier in the studio that people are designed to take advantage of what you give them. If you continue to give out, they will take it. They will take it.
Yeah.
It is your job, it is your responsibility to identify your needs, to set your boundaries, to care for yourself. Nobody's doing that for you. Like, you are your own advocate, and so that's why it's important that you do it for yourself. No one's doing it for you.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to say no.
Yeah.
I should have said no to you this weekend.
What?
That last second workout.
I made him work out. I was like, can you work out Sunday? Because I haven't worked out in a couple of weeks, and I can't not work out when I'm about to do a self-care episode on how I'm supposed to be taking care of myself.
Yes, and he had something going on that day.
I did.
See, that's a boundary crossing.
No, but here's the thing about it. To me, you have to know who you are. So my greatest superpower is the ability to help people get to their best. That's why I say power. I say power is in everyone. My job is to bring it out. Greatness is in you. So my thing is that I don't consider this work. I consider this an opportunity to help another person become great. That's how I look at it. People are like, when are you going to retire? I'm like, why would I retire from this? Why? I want to keep doing it. So my thing is, I said at a young age, 8, maybe 10 years old, I told my father, I said, Baba, I'm not going to have many friends. He's like, why? I said, because I look at the world different. So I understood that who I was and just trying to understand that person and understand my value to the world. So my value to the world is to make people feel great about themselves. You got too many negative social media, the news, politics, everything is beating you down, telling you not this, you not that. I'm dumb. I don't listen to none of it. I'm not smart enough to understand what they say. I'm the dumbest man on the planet because I think I'm awesome. I'm perfect. I'm perfectly designed how I'm supposed to be, and unless you create the stars, the moon, the sun, maybe you can critique me. If not, I don't care.
And that's why I do 100 burpees sometimes.
Because you're great.
Yeah. Palma.
So it seems to me, Hakeem, it's almost like you're describing self-love, and I really think that's so important. My coach is Shaun T from Beachbody, because it works for me because as a busy mom, single mom of 2, and a vascular surgeon in practice for a number of years and on about 1,000 committees. Oof. This is my little workout space you're looking at. It's totally adjacent to my bedroom. There's no excuse for me not to get there. And, I only see my TV, and it's very simple. And I have to work out with the TV. But that's one thing Shaun T always says is it's about self-love. And that's exactly what you described. And I think it's easier to like other people because you like yourself. It's really important.
I think that's a good point. I think the idea of giving and giving and giving so much of yourself that you have nothing left for yourself is this form of self-sabotage, that the more I give to people, the more they'll love me back. And it becomes this vicious cycle. When you can create this own, I love myself the way I am, I deserve this, I'm worthy of this time for myself, that begins this journey of self-care that looks a little bit different than what you're used to. It's going to be unfamiliar at the beginning, I believe. It's going to be a little bit hard to tap into the idea of just giving and giving and giving and giving. And it's another form of self-love, is to say no, to pull back. And
I need this time for myself.
Yeah, this is for you.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what you see in our industry. Many trainers burn out because they don't know how to say no. Like, because I get up so early in the morning, I have to tell myself, no, you have to stop. You have to stop. It doesn't matter if it's more money. I'm like, nope, I can't do it. So my clients and people that work with me, they understand that this is Hakeem's time. From 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock every day, every Monday through Friday. That's Hakeem's time. Don't even call me. And I had to do that because I burnt myself out before. And so I was like, people say, why don't you go out? Why don't you do that? I say, because 90% of my time I'm giving myself to someone else. I just want to go home and just relax on the couch, watch some anime. Yes, I watch anime. Okay, a lot of it. I watch my anime, sit back on the couch, and just do nothing. And that's awesome to me. That's my self-love. That's number one right there. Anime, cheddar popcorn, and some Reese's peanut butter cups. We in here.
There's space for that.
Well, so switching gears, speaking of...
That leads up to diet.
So speaking of cheddar puffs and Reese's
cheddar popcorn.
Yeah, so when I first started working out with Hakeem, he told me, he's like, you need to call me every time you eat something. And I was like, that's not going to happen. Because on a
I
bad
said,
day, that's not going to happen.
no,
Because on
I
a bad
said-
day, I'm going to eat Popeyes, a 3-piece chicken wing with like a side of coleslaw. But
Context, give it context. I say, if you have questions about what to eat, call me and I can review it and I can give you the best option of that. I ain't trying to talk to you that much. I love you.
Yeah.
But I ain't trying to
well,
talk
okay.
to you
Well, I didn't have
that
any
much.
questions because
She knew what she was doing.
Yes, my emotional treat for myself, call it. I mean, I don't know what you will, but it's like lunchtime if I get lunch, but like lunchtime and to eat like something good. But Palma eats protein bars that we know. But one of our questions was, how do we incorporate, you know, a healthy diet somewhat, especially like days when we're on call and we may not eat for like hours. I mean, I guess you call that intermittent fasting, but like when the only thing left is pizza.
Call it lack of self-care.
Yeah. Well, like, so what do you choose? Like, what are some options? Lindsay, you want to go?
I think this is probably pretty common across the board, but
Yeah.
a plan in place is really important. Like if you know you're going to be on call,
Yeah.
you know what days you're going to be on call,
Yes.
then take that stress out of it, where there's no planning in the moment. You're not going to be cooking meals and doing, so the planning part of it, I believe, is really important to setting yourself up for success. For me, it's really like, it's not making it harder on yourself, it's making it easier on yourself. So I'm sure he has a lot of tips on, you know, healthy eating and things like that. For me, I just find that the plan put in place, something easy, accessible, something to go, obviously if you're going to be at the hospital, and the commitment to it. Not that you're looking for perfection. Again, I don't think that's the goal, but I do think in those days that, you know, these are going to be harder days. I'm going to be more depleted anyway. So I need to nourish myself, and really using food as that nourishment and being mindful about the food that you're putting in your body to sustain the weekend or the week that you're on call is really important. I'm sure he has specifics in mind.
Man, no pressure.
No pressure.
I would say, first off, I hate the word diet. Spell it out, D-I-E. So for me, I never say the word diet because I'm big on words. So for me, it's just about what works for you. Understand it. So let's say you have a person like, I love Reese's peanut butter cups. I'm like, man, I can't be eating that all the time. So what's an alternative? You have Justin's. What are Justin's? Made with stevia, dark chocolate. Dark chocolate has a high amount of fiber. What does fiber do? Keeps the insulin levels down. So now it's not the healthiest thing, but it's a better alternative. So I find that, especially in this situation, because I worked in healthcare. I did my master's degree in business and healthcare administration, worked right next door. And the first month there, I gained like 12 pounds. I was like, oh no, this ain't cutting it. So literally what I started doing is the nights that I would have to work overnight, I would have a bag already packed. I had like maybe, I have a protein shake, a Kind bar, an apple, and then I just reach and go. Like you said, take the stress out of it. Because because you're gonna eat for convenience. What's there, what's available. Me, I love a good homemade, turkey, ham, and cheese sandwich. So I would do that. I would make sandwiches, have them packed, so all I have to do is reach, go, and grab. I didn't want to make things too complicated because you already live a complicated lifestyle. Your mom, your surgeon, your wife, your person on top of all that, and then just to try to balance all that out, nah. So my thing is be prepared, like you said, and just implement, have a plan that you can stick to. Not everybody else, but you can stick to. And that's, to me, I think that's the key.
Well, that's both great advice. Palma, how do you stay so thin and healthy and when you're so, I know how busy you are.
Genetics. Nah.
You know what? I avoid the carbs. I really do. I avoid desserts, and I don't eat bread, and I deprive myself of a lot of things. But I'd rather be thin. Just for me, I'm more well. I'm happier that way. So it's all good for me. So it's worth it to me.
That's the key.
Yeah,
what works best for you?
What works best for you,
Yeah,
right?
I definitely do not avoid carbs. That's my
I don't
number one
avoid
food group.
carbs. Yeah, I don't avoid carbs.
That's my number one food group.
Yeah.
Carbs.
I mean, really, honestly, when I started working out with you, it was really not so much to lose weight, but really just to gain strength and stamina and stay that way, because I just realized, like, especially after coming back from maternity leave, like I would get worn out like so easily, and like it's exhausting. I didn't realize how much it would take to really like stand on your feet for 8 hours, you know, and how you don't even think about it, kind of like varicose veins, but like at the end of the day, you know, how like your back hurts, you don't even realize it until you lay in bed and you're like, oh my God, my whole
hard on yourself.
body hurts. And or I mean, Palma, do you feel that way? Because
if I work out routinely, if I do my 20-minute Shaun T workout every morning at 4:30 in the morning, I never feel like that. But if I go a week when I'm rounding all morning and I'm on call and I'm crushed at the hospital and I don't work out, I do feel like that. So I know what I need to do to feel well.
Yeah. I think that food has gotten such a bad reputation in our society. Like we've gone so far off the deep end of being like fearful of food, just totally terrified of food for whatever reason. You know, it's always the fad of like, it's no sugar and then it's no carbs and it's no this and it's keto this, and it's like, it's all over the place. But I'll just say from experience, when I was training for my fitness competition in 2017, and I had to consume so much food. It was all whole food, but it was so much food. And it really had me change my perspective on food, not just as nourishment, but to build like what you're talking about, like building the stamina and the strength I was on stage from a strength standpoint and I was consuming all of this food. It really shifted my perspective on like, stop putting food in this like evil category that it's either good or it's bad and it's black and white. Like there's so many options, like you said, there's so many options out there. To really view food as fuel and nourishment could change the game and how you consume it. Yeah,
Food treats you. I mean, if you eat right, then that's less things that you have to deal with from a health status. I mean, obviously there are certain things that are anomalies or can, you know, but your food. I mean, all you have to do is look at Western cultures. Look at people who have whole food, like Middle Eastern diet. You know, it's low, it's high fiber. High omega-3s, low sugar. I mean, you look at it. So the food, I mean, look, the food here will do a number on you. And so you have to be cognizant of it. But I always tell people this, what does your body recognize? Your body doesn't know that, hey, that's a cheeseburger. Or that's your body doesn't know this came from McDonald's or this came from, you know, Buff Burger. What your body knows is excess. And that is the thing about it. In Western culture, we're going on a predated pyramid of having carbs here and this and that, and we're not that active. And that's the problem. It's not that carbs are so bad. It's that the average person consumes way more carbs than their activity level. And then when you factor in, because let's say you, like, sometimes I'll eat a double meat cheeseburger, but in my workouts, I burn 1,500 calories, and I'll burn 3,200 calories a day. So that's not going to have as much effect on me. But if you have a person who's not working out, eating heavy sugary drinks and eating fried food, you have a surplus, and all body fat is stored energy. You know, so the thing about it is, you know, I like what you said, you know, you have to know what works for you. Know what works for you, what you can stick to, and then just ride that gravy train. You know, I just had to say gravy. I just wanted to say gravy. Thanksgiving's coming up.
Yeah.
Can you give us any tips on, for a person that has very little time to work out? I mean, is it worth doing a 10-minute workout?
Absolutely.
Abbreviated workouts.
Absolutely. Tabata. So Tabata was started by this Japanese doctor. I forget his name, like Hideki Tabata. I just love saying his name. But the whole thing is, and you guys being doctors and everything and surgeons, you understand this, tapping into the different energy levels. So with Tabata, it's 20 seconds high intensity, 10-second recovery. What happens when you do that? Your body, adenosine triphosphate, you can't create enough energy, so your body has to go into glycogen. It runs through the glycogen real quick, that goes into the liver, runs through that, so you force your body to feed off itself. Sometimes I'll do a 20-minute workout where I'll do 20 seconds of burpee, 10-second recovery. 20 seconds of burpee, 10-second recovery. I'll do 4 rounds of that. Then I might go to jump squats. I do high metabolic boosting activities to get my body temperature up, make sure I work in all 3 planes of motion. I might do some speed skaters, some running man, but just keeping it high intensity, short recovery, and you'll be good to go.
I think when I come to Houston, I'm working out with you.
Let's do it. I was
Me or
right
him?
I was thinking that. I was thinking that. I was like, you know.
If you're working out with me, it'll be 15 minutes of pure complaining. So we have a question. Oh, I forgot to mention this is a live show, so you can join by web. Go to pollev.com, enter DeBakey, and respond with your question. Or you can join by text. Text DeBakey to 37607 and text in your message. So we have one question. What part does exercise play in fasting, and is it safe?
You want to go with that one? You want me to go with that one? I will go with that one. So just because I was raised as a Muslim. I did Ramadan and played all sports. During Ramadan, I played basketball, football, and track. I've done all that. Fasting and working out, because the theory behind it is that when you stop eating at a certain amount of time, your insulin levels are lower. So then when you work out early that morning, you're tapping into those stored energy reserves. However, if you're new to working out and not experienced, do not try that. Mm-hmm. Do not try that. That is something you need. You could try that because you work out. You could try it. But
not me.
No. That is something that's for each person. I don't recommend that to people. You need to build up a threshold, a certain level of tolerance before you go into that, because you go into that, and that having that low blood sugar and working out high intense, you're going to be on the ground. So I don't recommend that just from a general standpoint, because if I don't know your activity level, I'm not throwing you into that. Unless I know your activity level and I take you through an assessment and I see how you operate, then I might try it. But just even from a legal standpoint, I don't like doing it, because it's really not that safe for the average person if they're not used to working out like that.
Okay.
Or you shift what kind of exercise you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not doing your heaviest high intensity HIIT workout.
We're not doing broad
fasting.
jumps for 30 yards on the fasting. No, not at all.
Modifying your...
Yeah. Well, so we have 30 minutes left. I just wanted to switch gears before we do our some examples of some functional stretches and yoga poses. But so let's go back to the mind part. So Lindsay, I know you're you do this course a lot in this class. So finding calm in chaos and the importance of meditation. I mean, most of us probably don't do it. And we talked about this the other night. So how do we start as beginner? I mean, Palma, do you meditate?
I work out so hard that I can no longer worry about everything that's bothering me. So that's a good workout to me. If I'm working out, I'm struggling so much that I can't worry, that's my meditation.
Okay.
Totally see that.
Yeah, there is that mindfulness component that you're talking about. And I do believe that the finding calm in the chaos goes a little bit back to the self-care.
Yeah.
And I use the example of if I'm at home with the kids by myself for 2 days, and I've had, a handful of goldfish and whatever, that's my nutrition, and then I haven't worked out, and you can see where this is going. There has not been a whole lot of self-care going on in those 2 days. If there's a meltdown or there's any chaos in the house, the threshold is very low. Mm-hmm. So it goes back to the self-care. If I got a workout in, my husband's taking care of the kids, I come strutting through the house feeling good, and there's a meltdown, I can handle it beautifully. The threshold is higher. I've taken care of myself. My needs have been met, and then I can address it. Mm-hmm. So it really stems back to that self-care when it comes to chaos. If you're already depleted, if you're already at a point where life is feeling overwhelming, the chance of you being able to find calm in the chaos is going to be extremely challenging.
Yeah.
So it's getting ahead of it before you're already in it, before it snowballs, before you're already drowning. It's getting ahead of it. Okay, let's say you're in it.
Yeah.
Now what do? We talk a little bit about meditation and yoga being really, really beneficial tools in finding calm in chaos. And what she was talking about, honestly, I'm working out so hard that I forget about my stress, is the mindfulness component. She's only focused on working out. That is her sole focus. She's able to bring everything into one place, her body and her mind. That's mindfulness. That's a form of moving meditation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I think one of the things around meditation is getting away again. I'm very much breaking away from what we thought we always knew when it comes to anything. So breaking away from the idea of what meditation looks like. It doesn't have to be sitting on a mat with your eyes closed for 30 minutes. You know, it's not mindless. It's mindful. You are putting yourself in a position where you can be present to what's happening in your breath, in your body, in your surroundings. We talked about that snow globe visual.
Yeah.
It's like your mind is a snow globe. You shook it up, and those are all the thoughts going around. Mindfulness is being still and having your thoughts come to one place so that all of the snow can fall to the bottom, and there's a sense of clarity. You can see more clearly. You can handle the things around you more efficiently and effectively. It's really taking away that stress. And mindfulness is a huge, huge tool that we can use. And it can be just as simple as finding something that works for you. Is it an app? Is it sitting on the yoga mat? Is it a moving meditation? What does it look like for you? How can you apply it? And any amount is going to be beneficial to handling those things that come in.
So you're saying like even 5 minutes is
5 minutes. 5
Okay,
minutes is
yeah.
better than no minutes. Like
Yeah.
1 minute is better than, that's what the working out. Any of these things in the smallest increments is beneficial. So you start small. You're not trying to tackle a 30-minute meditation the first time you've ever sat down. It will be extremely difficult to do that. Start with 1 minute. If it's setting a timer, great. If it's, again, there's so many apps on your phone, following an app, it's sitting in your car for 5 minutes before you go into work. It's sitting in your car 5 minutes before you walk into the house.
I do that
after
all
work.
the time.
Yeah.
Well, so we were talking about this, and you were saying how important it is because if you can do that, you can apply it to, you know, Palm and I have talked about this, like stresses at work, right? Like your OR case getting delayed, an emergency, a consultant like making you mad. I mean, your resident doing something wrong. And so instead of being defensive, or you were saying, you know, like always
Reactive.
just reactive
Yeah.
and that you take that and sort of handle situations that, you know, cause anxiety a lot better in your
Yes.
life. And I don't know if I phrased that as well as you did, but
Yeah, what we talk about in yoga all the time is that what you do on your mat follows you off of your mat. And that is true with everything. So if you are practicing mindfulness and you are building that skill, you're exercising that skill, then when you walk into the doors at work, that skill follows you. You get to take that with you. So that non-reactivity, the calming of the mind, the deep breathing, the being present. Rather than multitasking 50 different things at work whenever you're not capable of doing that and your brain is not capable of doing that, you can focus on one task at hand. And again, you're more efficient that way because you're, instead of 100 things going on, you can tackle them individually and you're more productive. There's science around that.
Yeah.
People who meditate are more productive. People who meditate are less reactive. People who meditate have lower blood pressure. Like, these are real things. These are real things. And it's a practice, though. It has to be a committed practice. But again, 1 minute, 5 minutes starting off, that's better than nothing.
And just to piggyback on what you said about breathing, I'm the calmest non-calm person you will ever meet. I am calm until when I'm not calm, but it takes a lot. And I live in a Galleria area, and so something I realized, like when things start getting too much, I be like, take the breath down, just slow it down. And then here's the other thing I do. Realizing that it's a lot of people in this city that got a lot of problems that you can't fix or you didn't have nothing to do with. So only control that which you can control. So if someone cut you off, you know what? Their wife could be sick, their parent could be going through. Let them have it. Stop honking the horn. It's societies that honk the horn a lot. There's a whole thing about people that honk the horn. I had to get away from so really just understand that, you know what? It's a lot of people dealing with a lot of stuff. And I can't control what they're going through. I try to go through it with an empathetic ear, thinking that, okay, maybe this person cut me off because they need to go somewhere, they need to be somewhere. Maybe they found out some bad news. And I try to stay in that state, be in that state, because if I'm in that state, then I'm just a little more receptive to getting the middle finger instead of flipping one bag or honking my horn. I'm just like, you know what? Let them have it. Yeah. This might be the only victory for them for a day. That person messing up on you and telling you did something wrong, you know, that might have been their only victory for the day. And one of my favorite quotes Frederick Douglass said is, true power is making others feel they have it when they want someone to do something wrong, let them have it. Let them have it. Because you know that you were right. The power that you have knowing that you were right, they wrong, it's all good. It's all good. That's my favorite. It's all good. You can have it. Go for it. You know? And I just, if it gets too crazy, I'll step away, remove myself. I just take a couple of breaths. I'm like, all right, I'm good. You know?
And we talked about this stepping away from negativity
Yeah.
and just, you know, like not letting it bother you.
Just remove yourself.
Yeah, right. We have a bunch of live questions, and we are going to actually go do our active part of the show. So let me do this one question. Thank you for all your input and for educating us. What's the best advice you can give in terms of practicing discipline? I feel like I give up too soon. Lindsay, you want to comment?
Sure. I've said it a couple times, and it's because I truly believe it, is we are not looking for perfection here, because the end game is not perfection. You won't find it. Tackling too many things can sometimes be overwhelming, and then it's like, well, I'll just give it up because I've tried all the things and I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to go back to what I was doing. Start small. Let go of the idea of perfection and start small. Do one thing, be successful at that one thing. If it's small, the 1 minute sitting in your car before you go into work and taking a deep breath, that counts. Like, that counts. And then you work up to 2 minutes or whatever. The packing a sandwich rather than picking up the Popeyes, that's a win.
Yeah.
Or don't get fries at Popeyes.
That's true. Yeah, I could just eat the chicken.
It's a little thing. My this coach, Mickey Andrews, he was a coach at Florida State recruitment. He has a book called The 2% Rule. He said, just get 2% better. He goes, if you get 2% better every day, 365 days a year, 2% better. And the thing about it, it's not a jarring number. If you think, I got to get 20%, that's too much. 2% better. Hey, you know what? Like, for me, making my bed, that's what started me off right. I got to make the bed up. And I take my time, move all slow, just make my bed up. Tight. I said, look at that. That's a good looking bed. I get to collapse in once I'm done. But making my bed up gives me so much peace in the morning. When I have a crazy day, my bed's not made up. So for me, like, just like you say, 2% rule. Just get a little better. Because if you just keep it, life is about moving forward. You know, just slightly, just keep going. I tell my kids, I said, baby, I don't need you to be perfect. You know, just be your best. Be the best version of you and we good. I said, I'm still learning at this parenting thing. So, you know, as that question said, it's just work. You know, if it's one of those things where, hey, I eat out 3 times a day, let's cut it down to twice a day. I might have 3 drinks of wine at night. Let's make it 2.5, little by little, just small thing. I think we're so quick with this instant gratification. We got instant messaging, Instagramming, yada yada. Nah, slow it down, baby. Slow it down and just slow and steady. This is a marathon.
Yeah,
this is a marathon. The tortoise and the hare.
Yeah.
This is a marathon.
Yeah. If it's helpful too to write it down.
Oh, I write everything.
Yeah, like set a goal. You reach the goal. It's a small goal. You find another goal. You reach it. Like, those things are applicable if you need something to look at to track your progress. I give up too soon, you know, writing it down, journaling. I mean, if you're a fan of any kind of like reward system or whatever helps you to achieve those 2% or, you know, each day. And we kind of circling back to what we talked about at the beginning is that self-forgiveness, not trying to be perfect, just doing better, just being better. That's what we're trying to show up and walk through this world better every day.
Well, so the next question, a lot of surgeons have neck or back issues and any specific preventative exercises. So here we go.
Great
Alma,
segue.
you want to do a segue while we get ready? And we are having a special guest that's going to do the exercises with me. Come on down, Alan Lumsden.
All right, so while they're doing that, I'm the transition person here. I just thought I'd go through some of the things that keep me going. You know, you can ask yourself, what is your superpower? What pulls you through when you want to give up? First, get uncomfortable. Do something uncomfortable every day. Be flexible and push back that negativity. Have a positive mindset. Refuse to quit and love yourself. Be consistent, but be flexible and be creative, because you're really, at the end of the day, the only person that's going to pull you up. And then you can always wonder, what will happen when there's an earthquake in your life? We talked about the chaos, and you need to stop and try to think positive thoughts and think that it's all going to be okay, and then you'll be fine. I derive a lot of these from Shaun T. He says these during the workouts, and I write them down on a blotter, and then looking back at them is really very helpful to me. So you may think that hill is coming. I love this one. So you think everything is going well, things are good, but that hill is coming. There will always be challenges, and you won't know what your bandwidth is until you take on those challenges. So that's really important. You should celebrate small successes. I learned that in my MBA, and we spoke about it today. Small things. You did a little better every day. You didn't have to stop 5 times in that workout. You only stopped 3, right? Maybe you don't get the whole workout done, all 20 minutes of the workout, and you say, oh, I can't do this. I stopped too many times. But the reality is you'll stop less as you keep doing it. So just be positive and finish, because when you finish that workout, you should congratulate yourself and feel good about it. The other thing is, don't end up where you started. Just remember that every day is a journey and you're moving forward. So if you move the needle a little bit forward each day and you're not where you started, you're doing well. No problem. Change is constant. Change is good. Sometimes you think that change is scary. You're afraid. You're in a relationship, it ends. There's a transition in your life. You change jobs. But at the end of the day, change is actually very good for you. And this is a marathon, not a sprint. Pace yourself. Take time to celebrate the small wins and then move on along your journey to reach your goals, which may evolve over time. Enough sleep, definitely enough sleep. I don't get enough sleep. And here we have Dr. Alan Lumsden here with us to work out.
The legend with a pecan pie.
I thought I was coming
Just so fired up.
Thanksgiving dinner, so I brought the pecan pie along. Little did I realize
It's a
what
weight.
I was getting into.
It's a weight. It's a
weight.
Yeah.
High density.
I dare challenge Alan to push-ups.
Oh.
No, we're
Yeah.
not going to do that.
Okay, so Hakeem's going to go through some functional stretches, and then Lindsay's going to do some functional yoga poses, especially targeted for the surgeon and how we feel at the end of the day. So
the one thing that I want to talk about is with surgeons, you're standing up. So to me, a big thing, because your feet, your core is the center of the body, but to me, your feet are the foundation, and so the first thing I did was look at your shoes. They're very flat, which is very good because you want to be.
My Donald Planner shoes.
no, he's saying they're good.
That's
they're
a good.
good.
No,
They're good.
no, I have a pair of. Well, I have a Todd Baker, but I have a pair of those. But those shoes are really good because they're flat, so you're more balanced and you're more balanced on the ground. So I look at it like this: is that what we want to do is work our way up. You're doing a surgery, and a surgery is you're doing repetitive motions for an extended amount of time. That's a workout. So with any workout, you're going to always warm up. So to me, this is no different. So one thing I would say, since we're starting with the foundation at the feet, just kind of want to roll those ankles out. You just want to get on the ball of the foot, roll the ankles out. You want to roll it in and out. And then you can even get to the point where you do some inversion, some eversion. Yes, I have a healthcare background. I can use anatomical terms, distal, medial. But, you want to roll those ankles out and just kind of just move that. So because one thing the studies have shown is that ankle mobility tightens up after the age of 10. And that just starts rising up to the calves. Then it's going to work to the hamstring, glutes. So then from there, what we're going to do is put one leg forward, a bend in the opposite leg, and then we're just going to do a little pulsing with the arm straight, just pulsing. We don't want to force this. We're just doing a little pulsing motion. So what you're doing here is we're now getting some tension. We're releasing the tension in the hamstring, glutes, working the calves. So then we can switch over to the other side. A little pulsing motion, just a little
Alan,
bend.
you're very flexible.
We want to make sure that the leg that we're pulsing on, we keep that toe up. Now, this next one is my favorite one. So we're going to spread out a little bit this one. So I'm going to step back. So this one is a low rotation. You can put your arms out, or you can kind of just cuff your hands in. For the space, let's cuff our hands. And what we're going to do, we're going to rotate, drop that opposite knee. Rotate and drop. And what we're doing here is we rotate. We're opening up these flexors, which is taking stress off the hips and the glutes. So this is a nice way of loosening up those flexors. And it's kind of a lunge. So you get a little 2-for-1 on that one, okay? And then the last thing I'll go into, this one is actually, if you play golf, it's a very good one. I learned this at Titleist. With this one, it's a great way of opening up your upper proximity shoulder complex. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna have your arm straight out, thumbs up. We're just gonna do some small circles. And this will answer that question that was on there. Now let's do some medium circles. Thumbs are still up, medium circles. Now large circles. All right, now what we're gonna do, thumbs to the middle. Once again, small circles. And the thumb placement rotates different heads of the deltoid, medium circles. Now large circles. And then when you feel, what you'll feel is your lower traps, that's starting to open up a little bit. Now, the last one, we're gonna kind of slightly tilt forward. Thumbs are down, small circles. Medium circles, and you're gonna feel that rear deltoid starting to warm up, and then large circles.
Yeah.
This is a great way of warming up your shoulder complex. It also takes tension off your pectoralis minor, so you don't get this. You're open, you're feeling alive, you're feeling refreshed. So those are a couple of things that I wanted to show you guys to kind of help you get through your surgeries, kind of give you some things to think about. And you can always expand on this and do a little more. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm out.
No. You're done?
Not quite. We're not done yet.
I'm modeling the latest Methodist workout here.
Yes.
Crafted by Roberta Schwartz.
On to yoga. So we're going to go through a couple shapes. I know when people think of yoga, they think of either sitting, meditating, or they think of like being upside down or the splits. We're going to find something a little bit in between, which is more functional, specifically on the hips and for the spine and the core. So we'll start in a seated position. Just come down. You can do cross legs, something simple.
I'm supposed to know what the fetus position is.
Yeah, we're just going to do a simple twist. So you're going to take your right hand outside of your left knee, take your left hand to your low back. Yeah, just add a little twist, opening up your spine. Most of the time, our spine moves in 6 directions, and we use about 2 of those directions every day, specifically surgeons. So we're finding other ways to move the spine other than just forward and backwards. Okay, switch. Take your left hand outside your right knee, right hand to your low back, add a little twist. These are easy to do. At the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, in the middle of the day, you can do them anywhere. All right, come back to center, butterfly. You're gonna bring your feet together and let your knees go out. So this is a hip opener. It also helps open up the low back. We'll take a full breath in. And as you exhale, draw your head towards your feet. You can use your hands to kind of hold on to your feet.
Ooh, I feel that.
In your low back.
And my hips.
And hips, yeah. Okay, slowly come all the way back up. Find your way onto your belly. So you can face each other or you can face away from each other. This is called cobra. This works your back, and as we know, your back and your core are all your core. So take your hands underneath your shoulders, keep your feet on the ground, and lift your heart and just the top of your ribs. Yeah, so you can kind of press your way up, but you're using most of your back. So hug your elbows in towards your side body, really nice. And then maybe play with lifting your hands or at least taking a little bit of the weight out of the hands.
Lifting your hands but not your feet.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So you're making your back do the work.
I feel it in my lower back.
Okay, slowly come all the way down. Okay, flip over to your back now. As gracefully as you can, just flip over. This is a figure 4, or in yoga we call it eye of the needle. Bend your knees. Take your right foot over your left thigh. You could stay right here if this is a big enough hip opener. If you want, you could thread your right hand through the hole, taking hold of your right hamstring or maybe your right shin, and you're opening this out, not up. Okay, slowly bring your foot down to the ground first, unwind, and then switch sides. You could also do this on a wall. So imagine that I'm a wall and your foot is up against the wall, and you can use it to press in to open up in this hip more.
Oh, that I feel that.
Push it further. Okay, bring that down. Keep your hips for a bridge pose. Your palms by your side, facing up. Press into your, take a breath in. And as you exhale, lift your hips. Yeah, lift your bottom off the ground. Exactly. Press through your feet. Take another full breath in. As you exhale, slowly come all the way down.
What does that open up?
Bridge. It's really everything, but in my body, I feel it mostly like a hip opener, like flexors, and then glute work for sure. And then sometimes your low back.
Okay.
Where do you feel it?
Yeah, well, right here.
Oh, you're feeling it? Yeah, hip flexors, quads.
Yeah.
Okay. Our last one we're going to do is called banana. Just like that. You're going to take your left hand and take it to your right wrist. Open over your head. Keep your shoulders on the ground. And then move your upper body over to the right, so towards me. Keep your hips stable. Extend your legs long. And then take your feet over to the right as well. So you're making a shape with your a banana shape with your body. Yeah. Cross this ankle over here. There you go. So the idea is to open up all along the side body. You can also do this standing, a really easy standing. The idea is just moving the spine in 6 directions that it's intended to move. Okay, slowly come back to the center and go to the other side.
Oh, I feel that. Oh.
Yeah, and play with stabilizing this hip down. Yeah, so that you can
Hip down.
Back to the center. Take your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. And then however you want to come to seated. Feel.
Great. Marvelous.
Yeah, so these are really easy, accessible. Again, it doesn't take a lot of time, nor do you have to be a yoga expert to be able to do something like this. And I do believe it'd be beneficial specifically in your work after being like this
The whole time.
all day long. And heart openers are good for this. You can take a towel and roll it up so that it goes between your shoulder blades just to create this motion of opening up through the heart and the shoulders. Yeah.
Well, this was
Lindsay,
great.
Can you recommend something specifically for the neck?
Yeah.
Is there like a
I was
particular?
going to add that, neck stretches, yes. So I find that if you have a lot of tightness in your neck and your shoulders, sitting up on something higher, like a block or a pillow, because if you're sitting just on the ground, in the neck. So you can come sitting up again, like on a
The pecan
pillow
box.
or the pecan box. Somewhere where you can sit up really nice and tall, and then you can just drop your ear towards your shoulder. Take your hand to the outside of the opposite ear and extend your arm out. Spread your fingers down towards the ground. You're really letting gravity do a lot of the work here. You're not really forcing the ear down. You can stay here, and you can also play with dropping the chin towards the shoulder a little bit more, getting into the back of the neck. Switching sides, gently bring your head back to center, taking the other side. Extend your right arm out, Linda. Yeah, like towards the ground. Even more. Yeah. And notice if that shifts. Dropping the chin towards the shoulder. Bringing your head back to center. Interlacing your hands to your low neck. This is more of a heart opener, but letting your elbows go wide and letting your chin lift up, exposing your throat. Then hugging your elbows into your ears. Keep the length of the spine and begin to drop your chin towards your chest. Slowly come back up through center and release. Those are simple neck stretches. There's so many different shapes that you can take that are simple, accessible, beneficial.
Well, this has been great.
I feel better.
You got me understand.
Kim, you want to come back? I want to thank our special guest for being here and just really emphasizing the importance of taking care of ourselves and what that means. And it means, everything: body, mind, diet.
Don't say diet.
I'm sorry.
Nutrition.
Nutrition. Palma, any last comments?
Self-love.
Yeah.
Love me some meat.
Positivity.
Yes. So on that note, everybody enjoy your Thanksgiving holidays, and we will see y'all back in December.
Bye.
Gotta do a
Thank you.
little power up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, Palma. Happy Thanksgiving, Palma.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.